Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play with Fire. I'm Fire Princess, and today we're continuing on with the Ye Olde Royal Kingdom Challenge with Sims 3. We have Octavia Ward here. He is one of our nobility families, and he is actually a vampire. He is the original vampire to start out with those families, since part of the goal of this challenge is to get 5 generations worth for each supernatural type as well as humans. He lives just below the castle here, a bit further down, just still the upper class area of the city of Praaven, and I just wanted to read you guys the little description here. On the northern end of Castle Hill, a relatively large lot with an enormous barn for mount. The house is fairly old though, and those aspiring may want for some renovation if one prefers a safer alternative, total reconstruction. Here is Octavian Ward. He is adventurous, dislikes children, frugal, artistic, and a born salesman. He rolled the athletic career. I guess in this case that makes him like a jouster for this world. And his one true activity actually fits really well with his artistic side, because his one true hobby is film and literature, and he actually prefers to go to plays and like theater gig type stuff. So we'll have to keep an eye out for any sort of events going on like that. The house color is black, so you'll see him in a lot of black. I actually noticed that he is in a relationship right now with Kaylin Langerick. Like, oh my goodness. He is a noble family and she is a peasant. I'm not quite sure what he's thinking, but he decided to go study with her. The cynical side of me kind of thinks that he keeps her around to help with his thirst problem. Octavian also has a couple pets. Here is Tanduta. She is non-destructive, quiet, and a hunter. This horse here is Treasure Ward. We're gonna see a lot of treasure today, since we'll probably do a little bit more world exploring with Octavian and Treasure. But she is ordinary, quiet, and neat. Last but not least is Damelops. He is shy, aggressive, and clueless. Here's a quick tour of the Ward household. So here is the outside of it. The top floor up here, he's got the bathroom, which he's using, whoops, a fireplace, which means we'll have to go get some wood. Here is his coffin, his super fancy coffin that he gets to sleep in, as well as a bed for appearance's sake. Downstairs, he's got the dining hall, another room here that we probably could put maybe some couches in, and another spot to eat, probably buffet type food to throw on tables, as well as the kitchen. And the storeroom actually has Bonhilda, so we will awaken Bonhilda. The reason I put Bonhilda's closet out here is because the challenge actually says that vampires are allowed to have Bonhilda's closet. And I believe they're the only supernatural race, basically, that is allowed to have Bonhilda. So I figured we might as well get her, since this is the only family we'll be able to do that with. Of course, we have a cellar as well with some spots to put some nectar in. And even further down is more of this. I actually almost think maybe we should put his bed down here. That'd probably make a lot more sense, huh? It'd be more hidden and out of the way. Let's do it. There we go, that looks way better. He's got his own little hidden vampire lair way in the depths of his cellar. It's a little bit rainy outside, but I figured that might actually be a good thing because it's a little bit cloudier for Octavian here. These two are just gonna go for a ride so that Treasure can get some of that exercise need out. Although it looks like she might be a little stuck. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. So I had to fix it a little bit. It was just a little too close to the edge of the lot, the gate was, so it wouldn't open, which is why poor Treasure was stuck there. So now that we can actually get out, we can explore a little bit. My plan this round, though, with Octavian, that I think will be hopefully pretty fun, is to explore the graveyards around Praaven, because we have multiple, and I want to show you guys which ones will go to which class, because we have enough for them to be able to do that, to like split up the cemeteries based on class. Our first stop for graveyards will be at St. Simeon's, which is actually just within the city, so we will go over and check that out in just a second. But I wanted to read the lot description for you all, since I love to give credit where credit is due for Potato, and creating all of these histories and lore behind it is really just quite fun, so I would love to share it with you all. The main cathedral in the city, the Cathedral of St. Simeon's, is the heart of the city, built over ancient foundations and beliefs. Once a small chapel built in the plains outside the wooden palisades, the current St. Simeon's was built 200 years ago in anticipation of the arrival of a prized relic, a piece of the holy mask that had been acquired in Al-Quds. That being said, said relic ended up at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Despite that, the cathedral had eventually grown into an impressive building and was in the midst of a third rebuilding when the plague struck, leaving two discontinuous halves awkwardly joined. Perhaps future patrons looking to pay away their sins can finish the rest. Here is St. Simeon's from the outside. We're not quite there yet, but at least that way you get a peek at what it looks like and how grand it is. I'm not quite sure. It looks like these are the two halves that the description talked about. This church will be for any graves that are from Sims from the nobility class. So we'll take a peek around. It looks like we've just got all sorts of room for anything, really. Ooh, that's pretty. So you can see up above, down onto the main part of the church there. You can see this is where all of the graves for nobility families can be found. And it looks like we have plenty of room to expand into this. And we also have another water thing to explore. So that's going to be interesting to figure out where all of those go. Now, Octavian needs to get inside because he's starting to get warm. He's a vampire and we really don't want him outside. It's not quite late enough for him to really be out and about, which is why we just came to this one because it's so close to his house. So we're going to actually let's have him come explore. I don't know, I've never used any of these, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but let's experiment. Oh. That was like the least graceful thing I've ever seen. Octavian Ward has reached the lowest area. It's really wet down there. Octavian is scoping the surroundings. Okay, so it's kind of like a rabbit hole exploration thing. I wasn't sure because there's a lot of these ponds around. I thought maybe they might all connect somewhere, but apparently not. Apparently they're just stuff to explore. Meanwhile, Treasure's just enjoying a nice drink here while Octavian plays around. It looks like it's finally getting dark enough that Octavian can explore more of the world. So let's go ahead and have him jump back onto Treasure. He wants to get a riding skill point, and I definitely think he could use one to try and get around the city faster because right now he's at a point where walking would be faster. Although he's a vampire, so I guess running would be faster. Well, it took him most of the day, but he's finally got his riding skill point, so we're one step closer to being able to actually run around the city instead of this terribly slow walk. Queen Esmer, that's a dangerous sim to be walking out and about with at, the middle of the night. It's the perfect time of night for Octavian to get around town quickly without worrying about burning up. And he actually has to be at work today, Monday, later on, of course, because it's like 1 a.m. But he's going to do most of the traveling right now. And I believe I saw some beds when King Bartholomew went to the Abbey because his work is just right over here. So he can at least be close. So that way when he's moving in the daylight, it's not quite as long. We've made it to the Abbey, and Octavian here is just gonna take a dip in the bath. Looks like Dawn's running off to Nina. They've already got something going, nice. And Ras knows. But yeah, Octavian's just gonna chill in the baths here for a little while. It's still late at night, so he's still able to just kind of be out and about. There are some beds here at the Abbey. I found some. So hopefully he gets some energy from that. I just thought about that. Maybe since he's a vampire, it might not be the same. I'm not sure. Octavian just reached level 2 with riding, which is probably just in time because I'm trying to get him to go as fast as he can. He's got about 2 hours before he burns in the sun. He had to leave at this time though because of his work. And they're trying to make their way actually to the chapel that we'll check out later because I think he can hide away in there until he has to go to work. But I don't know. I don't know, we might be in trouble here. Holy cow, guys, I think we're just making it. We've got about 53 sim minutes to get there. We're gonna run inside stat. I don't even know, are we gonna unsaddle? Okay, that's fine. Let's hurry. This is actually his work. I decided to go to the work instead because I think we can actually get to the lower part here, which is where like the hidden professional sports building is what this is here. But he can at least hide under in the basement. He's almost there. We're so close. Come on, Octavian, you can make it. Where's the door? Where's the door to get under there? Why are you so slow? You might want to run. Oh, thank God. I was like, please work, please work. This is gonna be terrible if he can't. Okay, well, he's gonna hide down here while he cools off, and we'll see him after work. Octavian just made it to our next chapel here. This one is Malsberg Chapel. Let's take a look at the lot description. Originally built to impress the king, the chapel today fulfills the spiritual needs of those living in the area. The worshippers are constantly distracted by the many paintings and engravings of the Margrave posing with the king in various biblical attire. Now, it's a little too dark to really get a good feel for the chapel right now, so we'll do the tour once it's more daylight and we can see a little better. But in the meantime, there's actually a bunch of cuttable trees over here, so Octavian's gonna collect some wood for all the fireplaces he has. Although I guess we could look inside here. Inside we do have just kind of this really open area that's got plenty of room to add on to if we feel like it. So the Malsberg Chapel, this one is actually for merchant families. We'll probably leave the inside for maybe the more rich merchants, get the inside of the crypt, but the outside also has a whole bunch of burial grounds to allow for other families to be put around as well. Well, I guess I am kind of doing a tour right now. Even though it's kind of dark, my apologies. But the one interesting thing here is there's a big burial ground, and it's just a totally open grave. I'm not sure what happens here, but in my own little explorations, there's been a lot of open like burial grounds like this, and I'm not entirely sure what that's all supposed to mean. Just chopping some wood in the middle of the night. You know, I think he must have drank from someone at work because he was pretty thirsty going into work and he left work quite satisfied. Oh my gosh, look at this pop-up. Looks like Daniel Pleasant and Nina Caliente aren't happy in their current relationships and have been broadening their horizons together. Oh my goodness. Since Octavian is adventurous, I decided he's gonna come to the catacombs here and explore them. Octavian leapt across a wide chasm, grabbing a conveniently placed rope and swung across the gap to grab the gigantic space rock perched on the other side. What a find. Ooh, I bet that sells for a lot. Oh no! Treasure just ditched Octavian. She's going home. Holy cow, that gigantic space rock cost 3,500 simoleons. Dang, yes, we are selling that. Well, considering Octavian got ditched by Treasure, we're going to have to stay in the King's Inn and hope that he can make it across to work without burning alive. Yeah. The King's Inn just kicked out Octavian. It closed at 7. I'm trying to find somewhere he can stay. Dang it, Treasure, for leaving. If he can hide out somewhere for like 2 hours-ish, then we might be able to get back into the King's Inn. The only place we have that's close that's also open is the Malsberg town, or I think it's called a market square. Yeah, Market Hall. So we're gonna hide in Malsberg's Market Hall, and let's just go up here where he's gonna be out of the sun. Too bad there's not a bench. He could nap on the bench while he waits. Yes, we waited long enough. The King's Inn is back open. Let's go back to bed. He is like 2 hours from dropping to the floor. I wanted to show you guys real fast. So Octavian just got out of work, so he's gonna actually come back home because he needs to pick up Treasure Ward if they're gonna go do anything else. And he has to kind of fill up some cat bowls and that kind of thing. Look at that. He was all the way over at work and now he's just teleported home. It's gonna be great having a vampire in this town. Octavian rolled the want to talk to Zephyr, who's actually the fairy around town. I'm guessing fellow supernaturals know, who the other supernaturals are. And he's actually friends. They must have become friends just while we were out and about with other Sims. I think we'll try and keep an eye out for her. We're not only searching for Zephyr though, we're gonna search for Kaylin, his girlfriend, because he's getting a little hungry. First things first, we're gonna try and get to Kaylin. So here is a little peek at her house. She's in this little area here. And Octavian just appeared. It looks like she's not home, but he's gonna hang out front in the hopes that she shows up soon. Yes, there she is. You can see her rolling up this way. Perfect. Oh, it looks like Dina's a zombie in the back there. Look at Dina go. Make Kaylin think about me. Wow, that was autonomous. Kaylin, where are you at? Here she comes. Hello, Kaylin. What's up? Let's go in the privacy of your home. I'm gonna let them autonomously do some things, just kind of see what they're gonna get up to this round. You just kissed her. You want to kiss her again, huh? Zephyr lives in the area too, so I'm hoping. Oh no, they just found out they have some mismatched traits. What I was saying though is Zephyr lives in the area, so I'm kind of hoping if we stall a little bit with Kaylin that Zephyr will go home too, and we'll be able to have a conversation with her as well. I'm not sure they're going to do anything more, so let's go ahead and we are going to... Where is the eat her option? Well, he wants to drink her, but it's not letting me on her for some reason. I'm wondering if I have like an NRAS setting somewhere that's stopping him. Out of curiosity, I had Octavian consider Kaylin's attractiveness, and she's only a 3 out of 10. So I definitely think that she's just someone to drink from for Octavian. Unfortunately though, I think I must have a mod conflict or something because I'm not getting the option to actually bite from her, Like I can't bite her, I can read her mind, I can do the think about me thing, I just can't do anything else. I've tried some of the fixes just from some Google real fast, but I really think it's probably just some mods conflicting because I know I downloaded some vampire stuff, so I'll have to adjust that so he can actually eat. Luckily, he'll be able to eat at work, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Zephyr is right next door to Kaylin, so I'm going to have, we'll just kind of knock on her door. I know it's like 1:30 in the morning, but vampire life. Hey, Zephyr. That's another thing too. That's why I'm thinking it's a mod conflict, because look, she's a fairy and she does not have any wings. So not too sure what's going on. We've made it to the Tovar Chapel. Here's the outside of it for you all, but let's take a quick look at the lot description. It's a small chapel raised by, guess who? The Elbenhawks. And that's one thing you'll notice about the town of Tovar here is a lot of them the Elbenhawks created. Pretty much all the buildings are made by the Elbenhawks. So that's the founding family here, but unfortunately we don't have any of them around to play. We'll take a look at the outside first. Here are some graves that we can add on to basically. And then this side behind it, you'll see another open burial ground. What in the world? And I'm so confused. There's usually Indian blankets here. I don't know if that's a hint for anything. There's a Sweet William flower here too. I'm just not sure what to think of all this right now, but we'll figure out the mystery of those, I'm sure. Now let's see the inside. So this looks like maybe just like a room or something, a tower, or maybe even a cell. And then we'll come all the way down, and yeah, just a small little church here. Nothing's really put into it. So as the town grows, we might add on to it, or maybe if someone buys the church lot, which may be pretty unlikely because the Tovar Chapel is actually going to be the location for any of the peasant dead. And Tovar itself, just a little history for it for you guys, it's a small farming village near the Yara headwaters. Now we have the problem of trying to figure out where Octavian's gonna eat as well as where he's gonna sleep. So his work's way over here, he's over here. There's not an inn in between, but we could check out Lukehaven Chapel, which is the last graveyard in Praaven. And it's still kind of early, so I think he'd be okay, and there's an inn there actually as well, so we could totally check out the Golden Flask Inn. Last but not least, here is Lukehaven Chapel. This one is especially special for Octavian, because this is where the supernaturals will be buried whenever that time comes. It's a very small chapel here. It looks like they had to fix the top of it. It must have fallen or something. We'll read the lot description in a second. But there's some digging spots here, which is nice. There's some trees that can be cut down, and then quite a large field to bury the dead. It looks like there must have been something that happened in Lukehaven. Look, there's like burnt down houses and stuff, so we'll have to discover more of what that is. A humble chapel built years ago before the wars began. When Lukehaven is typically destroyed, the chapel along with the inn are the only two buildings that tend to stay standing. Perhaps not having the Holy Order breathing down one's neck and a steady supply of juice and nectar is appreciated around these parts. So that must be why there's so many burnt buildings around, is it's just not rebuilt from the last war. Lukehaven is a lawless and governable village whose major stone bridge has been destroyed a few times, which this would be the major stone bridge, because they're kind of like out on their own here. If the bridge is destroyed, they'd have to find a way to cross the river. So it's kind of a really important bridge. Let's have Octavian go ahead and get off of Treasure here. Treasure can take a break. She'll graze around, just get some food for her. Actually, you know what? Octavian has a carrot in his pocket, so let's give her a carrot. And then hopefully the Golden Flask Inn will be open long enough for us to use its facility. One thing about the Golden Flask Inn is that it is a bar that will, basically, you could get mugged or stabbed at. You don't want to be here unless you know how to handle yourself, and Octavian certainly does as a vampire. But this inn itself is actually popular among the country folk who live in the foothills of the area. Needless to say, Octavian will be fine. Already fighting with the bartender. Octavian got kicked out. We're gonna come across the street to the witch's house and see if we can use her shower. She's not home. The cat was like, what are you doing, Lonos? He's like, what is happening right now? It looks like the Golden Flask Inn doesn't open till 11, so we really need to find a spot to hide, which is probably gonna be the church, so let's go to the chapel. I'm gonna actually just move his thirst up with cheats, because right now it doesn't work because of mods and it's like a mod conflict somewhere. So I don't want him, you know, to die because of some dumb conflict that I didn't notice. We'll just kind of make sure he stays alive while we're waiting on solving this issue. Looks like Octavian got promoted. All that athletic work while he's been at work has helped give him his promotion. After all that, we finally made it home. Let's go ahead and get off of Treasure here. And he totally needs to pay attention to the cats. Look, they both lost him as a friend. He's been gone for days and days and has not interacted with them really. I'm sorry I've been gone so long, Tanduta. I'll hang out with you. Let's get friends again. I'm sorry to you too, Damalope. I didn't mean to ditch you. I just realized that Tanduta Ward, I thought she was mates with our cat, Damalope. But no, she is mates with Lanus Heron, who is the witch's cat. What? When did this happen? I wonder if we'll have any kittens in the future. Uh-oh, it looks like there's trouble in paradise between the king and queen. Look at this. There's been some bitter name calling on the street the other day. Got invited to Zephyr Willowcliff's party, and she's actually the next door neighbor to Kaylin Langerick, who Octavian actually rolled a want to go on a date with. So I'm hoping she'll be over on that side of town so that we can ask her on a date and hit up this party. So let's go. We just got to Zephyr's house and she's not even home. What the heck, Zephyr? You said your party was starting. Although I think it had an hour, so maybe in a couple minutes she'll be here. Ugh. Anyway, I have exciting news. So I figured out what my problem was with the vampire not being able to drink. My sim did not have the hidden trait for vampire, even though he like looked like a vampire and he could do some of the things because like from Cass we made him a vampire. He was missing the vampire trait for some reason. So I just threw that on with Master Controller and we can actually drink from sims now. It's only showing up at night, which I'm assuming might be normal. I have quite a few vampire mods. I get confused with what's vanilla vampire and what's not, you know? I'm just excited it's finally working because I was kind of annoyed that we were having to like just cheat his thirst until the problem was figured out. But I got that fixed, and then I also I downloaded a mod that was like a workaround to the bite thing, so I don't know if I'll be keeping it, but it basically makes it to where I can compel Sims to let me drink from them so they can't like deny or whatever, which is something I kind of want for my vampires because they're not supposed to be Sims that are like, you know, overly nice type thing. So with this mod I can compel Sims and do that kind of thing, but it also has it where the Sim is instantly hot when it's outside, and the vampire will override everything to get back inside because they don't want to burn alive, because they will burn alive in the sun. So it's a little bit more intense as far as being out during the day, which is why I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be keeping it. But I'm just glad the drink is working. Well, since Zephyr's not home for her party, I'm going to go next door, which is Kaylin's house. And she's not home either. What the heck? Octavian's getting hungry, and I do want to show you guys that the bite interaction is actually fixed, so we're gonna go search for Kaylin. Alright, we found her. She came to the theater, actually, which is Octavian's favorite place to be, so we will gladly talk to her here. He has to be careful with his teleporting like that, though, because he's not allowed to do that in the city, and he is very much in the city. So we need to be a little bit more discreet with where we appear and reappear. And look at this! We have the drink interaction back! Woo! Yay! I'm so glad that this works now. I was so annoyed. Alright, let's ask her on a date because he actually wants to go on one, and the fact that they're at the theater just makes it perfect because Octavian loves this place. Of course, the date was more so he could eat, but you know. Aw, she's too tired. That's sad. Oh boy, what is he doing? Oh, he learned one of her traits. That's one of my mods, is for them to autonomously use their powers, so, oh my gosh. You guys are lucky that no one else is around, that it's like 1 in the morning and no one saw you just use your powers. Goodness gracious. Alright, well, Kaylin's too tired to continue with anything, so I think we'll call it a night. We've made it to the end of the summer round with Octavian Ward here. We'll need to pay the royal family now that we're at the end of the round. We will go to Master Controller. We're gonna go, I think it's basic? Money transfer, and we'll choose the king, so we're just gonna say male. Here we go, and then we want to go to James, Bartholomew James. We don't want to transfer all of our money. We will give him his 200 in taxes that is owed. And there you are, just like that, we've got the taxes sent over nice and easy with NRAS. I hope you guys enjoyed this round. I had a lot of fun exploring the world a bit with Octavian, and I will see you guys next week.